شروع کنیم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. لا حول ولا قوة الا بالله العلی العظیم. الحمد لله رب العالمین. صلی الله علی سیدنا محمد و آله الطیبین الطاهرین. اللهم اخرجنی من ظلمات الوهم و اکرمنی بنور الفهم. اللهم افتح علينا ابواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك یا ارحم الراحمین. We continue our discussion about the hadith that I mentioned. Inshallah, I will go back to the hadith in the next week. So this is the second part of the first session. So in order to understand the position of spirituality in Islam, and I mean by spirituality what is common between ethics and mysticism. So we talk about akhlaq and irfan. So any kind of teaching of Islam which relates to heart, to soul, virtues and vices, and deep meanings for practices. So this is what we are talking about in spirituality. So in order to understand this, we can have different attitudes. One is go to the Islamic system of sciences, how we put them together. As you know, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam once saw some Muslims have gathered around a person who was expert in genealogy. He was Nasab. He knew Nasab, genealogy of Arabs. People were very interested. They were asking him questions about, for example, their grandfather, things like this. The Prophet is quoted as saying, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ ثَلَاثَةٌ, in Al-Kafi Volume 1, page 32. إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ ثَلَاثَةٌ آيَةٌ مُحْكَمَةٌ. One type of knowledge is ayatun muhkama, which is normally interpreted by Muslim scholars as aqaid. Knowing your beliefs is one branch of ilm. أو فريضة عادلة, or it is a matter of having proper practices, which is knowledge about Sharia, which is jurisprudence. أو سنة قائمة, which is interpreted as morals and manners, akhlaq. وما خلاهن فهو فضل. Other than these three is a merit, is good to have, but what is necessary is to have proper aqaid, proper actions and practices, and proper qualities of the soul, virtues. So you see, in this hadith, which has been inspiring Muslim scholars, a study of akhlaq, study of the soul and virtues and vices of the soul has been considered as one of the three major branches of knowledge in Islam. Now, which part of these three is more important, more significant, if we can compare? If you want to consider the subject matter, mawdu' of each of these three disciplines, aqaid is the most important, because in aqaid you learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His existence, His attributes, His actions. Then about prophethood, imamah, etc., resurrection. These are very important. If you have best practices, best akhlaq, but if you don't have proper belief, it's all going to collapse, or at least it's not enough to take you to the heaven, because belief in Allah and the hereafter is one of the requirements. So aqaid comes first if we consider subject matter. Then akhlaq comes as second, because human virtues are more important than human actions. Those who attended the course we had on moral philosophy in Islam, you remember we talked about this, about what is the subject matter of akhlaq, and we said both actions and qualities are important, and we said generally speaking qualities of the soul are more important than actions. There can be exceptions. Sometimes one action in a very crucial time can change destiny, not only of a person, of a nation, and not only of nation, of humanity. Like ضربة علي يوم الخندق أفضل من عبادة الثقلين. But these are rare cases. Otherwise, virtues, qualities of the soul are more important than actions, generally speaking. So to be generous is more important than a generous act. To be brave is more important than a brave act, yeah, generally speaking, but there can be exceptions. So akhlaq comes as second, then knowledge of actions of Sharia, which is fiqh, comes third. Even they call akhlaq and irfan as fiqh akbar, because this is about the heart, about the soul, and fiqh, the normal fiqh, is about just actions which are normally bodily actions, although they are very important. We don't want to underestimate fiqh, but we want to say akhlaq and irfan are higher when it comes to subject matter. Even if you have studied 40 hadiths of Imam Khomeini, alhamdulillah, with some of you we studied 40 hadiths, you remember Imam Khomeini says that hell and heaven, which are because of aqaid, are higher or greater. For hell we don't say higher, but we can say greater than akhlaq, and then akhlaq than actions. So if someone is punished for bad action and someone is punished for bad trait of character, which one is more severe? He says the one for bad trait of character is more severe than bad action. In any case, this is one way of looking at these things, to say we have three major branches of knowledge in Islam. Everything else comes either as preparation, like instrumental sciences that we have, or as an offshoot of these three. So we have these three. So certainly akhlaq is part of it, but when we want to put them into order based on the subject matter, aqaid is first, akhlaq is second, and fiqh is the third. But if we want to put them in a chronological order, if we want to prioritize our attention, so first we need to fix our aqaid. And second, we need to fix our actions. You see, the order changes. You fix your aqaid, then you fix your actions, learn wajibat, bring obligations, avoid haram. Akhlaq takes time, because it's not something that you can sort it out in few days. So it's very urgent to fix your actions first. To act according to the Sharia is very urgent, because even for one day you cannot delay it. Every day there is something that we have to do or avoid. And we need to quickly learn those issues that are applicable to us, mubtala bih, that are applicable to us. We have to learn. And akhlaq, of course, is something that from the first day we have to be engaged, but it's not as urgent and it's not possible to be fixed quickly. So it takes time till end of your life. Unfortunately, because of this fact, this is a fact, but unfortunately many people, when it comes to aqaid, they know it's necessary, although maybe they don't even give enough attention to aqaid. I believe we need as community to study aqaid more and more in our majalis, in our member, we need to always be reviewing our aqaid and learn it in a systematic way. But anyway, some people study aqaid, they study fiqh, they try to do wajibat, avoid haram. But when it comes to akhlaq, they take it as a kind of recommendation. I remember we had a meeting in one of the institutes in Qom, and one of the scholars who teaches Dars Kharij, he was saying the difference between fiqh and akhlaq is that akhlaq is about sunan and mustahabbat. Because it's a big discussion. What is the relation between fiqh and akhlaq? It's a very important discussion. And I have myself been involved in supervision of some dissertations on this in Jose, and once also one of our brothers interviewed few people, including me, about this issue and published a book about the relation between fiqh and akhlaq. This scholar was saying, to my surprise, that akhlaq is mustahabbat and sunnah. Sometimes we say this is sunnah in the sense of mustahab. Yes, it is sunnah, but not sunnah which is mustahab. Even sometimes it's so important that if we don't say it's wajib in a fiqh language, it doesn't mean that it is not wajib. It's not necessary, it is mustahab. Yeah? For example, maybe no one says belief in God is wajib in fiqh sense, because this is wajib aqli. Yeah? But it is wajib. To be honest is wajib or not? Maybe in fiqh we don't discuss about honesty as a quality, because in fiqh we are mostly concerned about actions. There are cases that we talk about some qualities, but normally we talk about actions. But qualities are also very important. So, unfortunately, sometimes people, even religious people, nice people, when it comes to akhlaq, they think it's better to have akhlaq, it's better to have a spirituality, but it's not necessary. One of ulama, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, Allami Sha'rani. I quoted in the course we had on akhlaq in Jose, moral philosophy also, his exact wording. He says, unfortunately, people don't pay attention to removing vicious traits of character 1/10 of what attention they pay to removing najasat. عشر ما يهتمون بإزالة النجاسات. Izalatul najasat is very important, but sometimes, people spend lots of time on making sure, their body is clean, that the dress is clean, tahir, ritually clean. Sometimes people spend, half an hour every time they go to washroom, sometimes more. But Allama Sha'rani says they don't give 1/10 of this attention to removing impurities from their heart. We don't want to underestimate tahara of body. We want to say why we don't give more attention to tahara of the soul. So, just taking care of our aqaid and actions are not enough, and we need to continue, although may not be as urgent like fiqh, but we need to pay attention to akhlaq as well. We have lots of things here to talk about the importance of akhlaq and how only observing wajibat is not enough. And there are some moving statements by some of ulama, but maybe inshallah another time I will talk about it. What I want to draw your attention is that also in social life, people need more akhlaq and spirituality to sense religion than just everyone performing their wajibat or avoiding haram or having good aqidah. Imagine you go to an office, you have an issue, I don't know, it's for planning permission or for gas, for electricity, whatever. You go to a bank. What matters to you the most? Whether this person has good aqidah or not, whether this person does wajibat or even salatul layl, or whether this person has good akhlaq. Which one matters the most? When you take a taxi, whether the taxi driver or other passengers have good aqidah or good practice, but no akhlaq is more important, or if they have good akhlaq, even if you don't know about their aqidah, or even if they are not Muslim, which one is more important? Maybe for someone with deep iman, he would say, I love to be working with mu'mineen, even if they don't have good akhlaq. I prefer to buy my bread from a mu'min who does salatul layl, even if he's very angry. He's rude. Yes, some people may be that high in iman that they can cope with these things. Say, as long as this person has iman, I prefer to work with him. But most of people, they say, who has iman is between them and Allah. Who has good practices, it's between them. What I want is to be treated with respect, with kindness. I want someone speaks with me with respect and smiles, not that someone is angry and rude. So even in social life, you see, what makes life sweet is akhlaq and spirituality. I'm not saying aqaid is not important. I'm not saying actions are not important. Definitely they are very, very important. But this is like the icing on the cake. If you have very good cake, but on the top is mess, no one wants to eat this cake. Yeah? So foundations are very important, but on the top, on the surface, when it comes to interactions among people, we need this. A young person, for example, goes to masjid. What he expects from imam of masjid or from other people in masjid? He's not going to test them their aqaid, how much they have studied about aqaid, or how do they do with all the details of fiqh. That's very important. But the main thing that he is expecting from them is to show beauty of faith in their interactions, to be kind people, caring people, loving people. Not that sees the same akhlaq in masjid that he would see everywhere. Whether it's masjid or a bank, the same treatment. Then we said, okay, what is the benefit of faith? What is the benefit of iman? I'm not saying this is logical. I'm not saying that people should stop their faith or going to masjid if they see bad akhlaq. No, this is not good excuse. But I'm saying this is understandable. It's not acceptable, but it's understandable. Sometimes people under pressure do things that we understand, but we don't accept, but we understand. If someone is hungry for many days and starts, crying and shouting, we understand. We don't say it's good, everyone should, cry and shout, but we understand that poverty is painful. So, what has been a source of a spread of Islam in many places of the world was akhlaq of Muslims. How did Islam spread in Malaysia and Indonesia? It was through good akhlaq of Muslim merchants. How Islam spread in Africa? Most of it was through a spirituality of some Sufis. I'm not saying all of it, but some of it. Akhlaq is very important. Spirituality is very important. The third way of looking at these sciences, so one was according to subject matter, one was according to the urgency. The order changed. So according to subject matter was aqaid, akhlaq, fiqh. According to urgency was aqaid, fiqh, akhlaq. But the third way is to go beyond the sciences and consider things in themselves. Sometimes we talk about akhlaq and we mean science of akhlaq. Sometimes we talk about akhlaq themselves, traits of character. Sometimes we talk about sharia and practices. Sometimes we talk about fiqh as knowledge about sharia. These are different. Aqaid as beliefs or aqaid as a science, they are different. So if we talk about these things in themselves, beliefs, morals, and actions, okay, which one is the most important? I'm not talking about aqaid as science. About beliefs, morals, and actions. My argument is that morals are most important. You may be surprised. Are morals even more important than iman, than beliefs? Yes. Because iman is not just a matter of knowing. Iman is not a matter of passing exam on aqaid. Iman is a matter of welcoming those articles of faith with your heart and surrender to them. Al-Iman wa taslim, not just ma'rifah. Ma'rifah, you learn it from aqaid. But ma'rifah doesn't make you mu'min. There are people who have ma'rifah, but because of moral problems in their heart, they are not mu'min. جحدوا بها واستيقنتها أنفسهم ظلما وعلوا. If you study Quran, once I have studied the entire Quran with this intention, you can do the same. My question was about Iman, about faith. What is the nature of faith? What are the degrees of faith? What are things that contribute to faith or is obstacle for faith? I studied the whole Quran. My conclusion is that Quran, most of all, considers Iman and Kufr as moral issues, not just as a matter of knowing or not knowing. Iman is not to know and Kufr is not to know. No. These are choices that people make. Some people choose to be mu'min, some people don't choose to be mu'min. Those who are humble before the truth, they accept what they know. They act upon it. They declare it. Those who don't know, or they know but they don't want to accept. From Quranic perspective, it's very rare to have someone who wants to find the truth and still he cannot find the truth. Whoever is kafir is mostly because they didn't want to understand the truth or accept the truth. It's a moral issue. Therefore, they are blamed. And mu'mineen are praised. So there is a choice here. If there was no choice, why you praise them or blame them? Why Salman became a mu'min, a believer? Because he had some moral qualities in his heart that led him to acceptance of Islam. He was a person who was searching for the truth. He was an honest, truth-seeking person. It's not that he became a Muslim, then he needed lots of training about aqaid and fiqh and akhlaq so that he becomes a special. He got better marks in these trainings. No. From the first day Salman became a Muslim, he was a special. Why? Because he chose Islam out of his good traits of character. Like people who today, they look for the truth, then they become Muslims. Many of these people are much better than some of born Muslims. I'm not saying all of them are better than all of the born Muslims, but many of them are better than many of born Muslims. Because someone is born to Islam, has not chosen Islam, has not done any search, any sacrifice, maybe born to Islam without having any good characteristics. But someone who finds Islam and accepts Islam and is happy to give what is needed, make sacrifices, this person is already a good person, and now Islam can make him even better. But those who have been born to Islam, maybe there is no sign of Islam in them except on appearance. Even sometimes they don't have the appearance of Muslims. Some born Muslims, they don't look like Muslims because they didn't choose. So, even Iman and Kufr are moral issues. Iblis had moral problem. He didn't have problem in his understanding, in the sense that we say, okay, he didn't know aqaid enough. He didn't have enough knowledge. His problem was not lack of knowledge. His problem was not lack of practice. We don't have any sign of Iblis failing in practices. No. For 6,000 years, he did everything which was needed. Abadallah sittata alaf sana. But Aba wastakbara wa kana min al-kafir. The problem was istikbar. Amir al-Mu'minin naturally says he was Imamul Muta'assibin. He had bias. He was arrogant. These are moral problems. So, if we look at it in this way, then we see morals, traits of character, qualities of the soul or heart are the fundamental, most fundamental things. And these actually can lead to Iman and good practice, or can stop. Those who are mu'min, truly mu'min, those who are truly practicing, it's because of some good qualities that they have in their heart. So in this way, then we can say akhlaq, not as a science, akhlaq as those morals come first, then beliefs, then actions. There is an ayah in the Quran that needs reflection, for this topic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Qasas, verse 83, he says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا والعاقبة للمتقين. Maybe we normally think muttaqi is someone who has good actions and avoids haram. Yes, this is part of it, but it's not all of it. Muttaqi is someone that even his irada is according to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tilka darul akhirah, Allah refers to the hereafter, to the next abode, and he says naj'aluha, we make it للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فساد, not للذين لا يعلون ولا يفسدون. Doesn't say we make it for the people that are not arrogant and don't do mischief. No, it's more than that. Those who don't have will and desire for doing so. What does it mean? It means that maybe sometimes a person doesn't do fasad, doesn't do any mischief, but because he doesn't have the means, he doesn't have the power, he doesn't have the support. If he has these things, he becomes another Hitler, another Saddam Hussein, another tyrant. Just doesn't have the means. Like a snake in the story of Molavi, that someone in winter found a dead snake. It was like a stick, a wooden stick. It was not showing any movement. He said, okay, I can use it as a stick. Took it home, and there was kursi, there was heater, so little by little this snake was getting warms, and then when was again active, started biting. So this person, because of heedlessness, was attacked by this snake. So Molavi says, نفس چون اژدهاست کی مرده است، از غم بی‌آلتی افسرده است. Our nafs is like this frozen snake. It's not dead. Just there is no alat, there is no instrument, there is no means. Maybe when I am a student, I'm a talabe, I don't do any mischief, but this is not necessarily a good thing. When you have power, when you have following, when you have influence, would we be the same or you would change? That's the question. In Tafsir Qummi, volume 2, page 146, there's a hadith that when Imam Sadiq alayhi salam was thinking about this ayah, maybe someone read or Imam himself read, it says وَجَعَلَ يَبْكِي وَيَقُولُ. Imam started crying and saying ذهبت والله الأماني عند هذه الآية. Basically it means that by Allah, after this ayah, no hope is left. Of course, means no unrealistic hope. Because it doesn't say لا يفسدون, it says لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فساد. Imam was crying. So, is it enough that we don't do bad actions when the roots of bad actions are there and we have not dried out the roots? There is jealousy, there is greediness, there is selfishness, there is bias, there is arrogance. I am just making sure that I don't commit haram. But these roots are strong. One day or another day they come out. And even if they don't come out, you don't have qalb salim. You don't have pure and healthy heart. This is what we need. يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Just to control our actions is not enough. Then I have a discussion about some of the major moral values and virtues. I think we leave it inshallah for the next week, bi'iznillah. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us in purifying ourselves, our soul, our actions, our intention, and remaining consistent in all circumstances, whether we are known or not known, whether we are healthy or ill, whether we are poor or rich. We ask Allah to help us. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Thank you very much, dear Dr. Shomali. I have a question that's
yes.
The relationship between akhlaq and aqaid, based on your opinion.
Yes.
Because this is very important. Some scholars, Islamic scholars, believe that the morality is not enough itself, because many enemy of the our imams, maybe some of them have good morality and do good works, did good works. I mean, actually, what is the relationship between these two concepts? Is it the aqaid is a part of morality or not?
According to that, I guess taqwa was more important than akhlaq.
And our brother asked about the relationship between taqwa and akhlaq.
Yes.
Which one is important?
So, if you have good akhlaq, inshallah we'll talk about it, the virtues that I'm going to mention. The top virtue is truthfulness. So if you have good akhlaq, it means you are truthful, then you will find the truth. And even if you don't find the truth, you are excused. Our problem is the people who are not truthful, who don't accept the truth, they reject the truth, or they don't bother about the truth. When I say akhlaq, I don't mean just to be kind person. I'm not just talking about husnul khulq. I'm thinking moral virtues including truthfulness, honesty, loyalty, humbleness. These are things that if you have, you will find your way towards the truth. And even in rare cases someone doesn't find the truth, he's excused. The problem is that some people, they know the truth but they don't accept. These people don't have akhlaq. So we are not talking about akhlaq at the superficial level. We mean about someone who is really virtuous. And taqwa, as I said, is not just about actions. Taqwa is a matter of having good actions, but also a matter of having purity in heart. If someone is not sincere, if someone is not mukhlis, can we say he is muttaqi? If someone is after power but he doesn't do anything, but he is always thinking about fame and power. If someone has hubbud dunya but he doesn't do anything wrong as action, but he has hubbud dunya, is it muttaqi? So taqwa is a comprehensive concept. Part of it is about actions, part of it is about qualities and reasons for actions. Muttaqi is not the one who forces himself to do good action, but in his heart is full of love for dunya. Okay? So inshallah we talk about it more, and also think about this, study. If you have questions, especially after studying, and mubahisa, even beginning of the next session, I'm happy to discuss first your questions. I want all of you to engage in this discussion, not to accept what I say, but to think, to study, and then inshallah we can discuss bi'iznillah.
Okay, thank you. I have another question. That what is the source of this class? Is that it has any source books or articles or something like that, or not?
So far, the source is what I am saying. So you have to take notes, but maybe gradually I will introduce to you some books to read. But right now, I am using my own notes, and inshallah you can take notes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
May Allah bless you, inshallah.
Salam, inshallah.
So our next class is in 8 minutes.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So maybe we can, inshallah, after 20 minutes, inshallah, start.
20 minutes. Inshallah.
Inshallah. See you, inshallah. Thank you. Iltimas dua.